All right, another thing, y'all, that I kind of, okay, this is something that I feel like is just, it's honestly only an issue because I'm black, but pretty much there are areas called sundown towns, especially when you're driving in the South. And basically they're areas where they're known for like being racist, and they're said like if you get caught in a sundown town as a black person, it's like it's not safe for you. And I'm driving through Alabama right now, and I'm sure there's a plethora of cities here that are considered sundown towns, but it's just like it's created almost like this feeling of like like I don't want to have to live my life being scared of racist and racism, right? Because I can't control other people and how they treat me or how they feel about me. But it just kind of like, I just had this like kind of fear. I'm like, what if I don't know, have to stop and get gas and don't realize I'm near one of these places? And you know, you just hear all of these stories. And this is why I feel like watching the news just like is not good and healthy, because it creates irrational fears. Well, irrational fears, but also it's just like, it's based off of real issues, I guess. But anyways, I was just like, it can sometimes feel less safe traveling, especially in the South as a black person. But you also can't let that, like, I can't let that control like me doing things. And I also just feel like I don't want to have to worry about it, but also like that is why when I do travel, I don't like traveling late at night. And then also it's just like traveling you know what, I just miss, you know, being careless. But I don't think you should be careless, but you know, carefree and not worrying about like things like that. Because I'm like, the things I used to do when I was younger, but I feel like when you're younger, you're doing things that are somewhat careless. I want to be carefree. Like, I don't want to be worried about all of the things and problems that can or might arise in areas. I just want to know, you know, trust that everything, like, God is protecting me at the end of the day. But it's just like, I don't know, I just randomly remembered like, oh yeah, I don't know. And that's honestly, worry is like thinking about things that could happen. But it just sucks knowing like traveling, even like no one should have to worry about, you know, racism being the reason you are scared to travel to certain places. It's like, you just can't let that stop you from exploring the world, because I feel like, one, you're living your life out of fear, but also it's just like, you can't control other people. But I do want to say, like, seeing other black people around, I do feel a lot more safe if I see other black people, depending on where I am. Like, even when I went to Charleston, like, you know, I would say most of the people I interacted with in Charleston were nice. My friends did tell me there were some people giving me dirty looks, but, you know, I am kind of like, what's it called, oblivious to certain things, because I don't know, I'm just thinking, you know, I think positively. I also do believe there's a lot of like kind, nice, good people in the world. Like, I don't want to just live my life thinking everyone in the world is nasty, mean, or negative, because that's not a mindset. Like, I don't know, when you think like everyone around you is mean and nasty and negative, like, I would rather believe there's like good, decent people. And I do believe that there's good, decent people everywhere, nice people. But, you know, it's just basically like, I don't want to have to worry about stuff like that. And I guess I can choose not to worry about those things. Like, even if I do encounter a racist person, you know, life trying to avoid all of these places and avoid all of these people and like living in fear of racism and racist people, or I can just live my life and not let the fear or worry about that stop me from doing things that I enjoy. And honestly, I feel like my mom is probably the reason that inspires me to do that, because my mom travels a lot by herself as a black woman, and I think that my mom, you know, isn't focused on those things, because again, it's just, why would you be, like, focusing on that is what's creating the problem too. Because you maybe, I mean, I haven't personally encountered a lot of racism in my life. I mean, I have encountered it, but not a lot. And, you know, if I choose to focus on that, that's how I will see the world. But I don't want to focus on all of the racist people that may or may not exist around the world. I'd rather focus on the people who are kind, caring, loving, considerate, genuine, caring people, you know? So I just remember my little sister telling me, like, when she was driving back, it's just like, black people shouldn't have to worry about, like, avoiding certain places, because, like, obviously, and I guess the only reason we know that is because we hear stories, or there's these, you know, there's I guess information about sundown towns out there. But I mean, I feel like you wouldn't, ignorance is kind of bliss in a lot of ways, but also it's just, I don't want to create another, I don't want to have to, you know, worry about some, like, more issues or problems that could arise traveling by myself. It's really just like, you could focus on the negative things, and you could choose to focus on all of the potential problems, or you could focus on, you know, the positives. And just like, I'd rather live my life believing most people are good than spend my life believing most people are bad. And I don't want to assume people are racist and people are, you know, those types of ways. But I just, you know, I've always been like I'm gonna be nice to everyone. Like, I don't care. I'm not going to ever, I don't want to assume the worst in people either. So it's kind of just like my mindset about it. And I was thinking, because I was talking to my friend yesterday when we were at dinner, and she was talking about how this woman at her work had brought up, like, political things and how she didn't want Kamala Harris to win. And here's the thing, I feel like you cannot like a political candidate and not be racist. And I feel like we can't, I don't like when people insert racism into things where there is none. But I also do agree that there's a lot of ignorant comments people do have or hold about things, because they don't recognize the racial bias that they do have. So it's also just like I can say I don't like Kamala Harris, and it has nothing to do with the fact that she's black or a woman or anything like that. It's just like, I maybe just don't like her. I don't like her. I honestly find her voice very annoying. I'm so sorry, y'all. Political ads. I'm so tired of freaking watching political ads. They get on my nerves. I'm tired of hearing Kamala's voice is like the most irritating voice I've heard. I don't like the way she speaks. It like just, her voice gets on my last nerves. Now, that's not something that I feel about a lot, but maybe it's because I keep hearing her watch, like, I keep getting stuck watching those stupid political ads, and like the sound of her voice, every time I hear it, I just am like, ugh. It's irritating. I don't like her voice, but that's neither here nor there. She can't control her voice, and I can't maybe control that I don't like it, but I don't like her voice. I don't know why. I just find it very irritating. Like, she talks very nasally, you know, so like, just the way she talks, I just don't like her voice or how she talks. I find it rather irritating. But, you know, that has nothing to do with her race or anything like that. But if I'm just like, I don't like her, the way she talks, like, I don't know. But anyways, this is getting out of hand. But anyways, my friend said how her a coworker of hers had brought up not liking Kamala, but she loves Candace Owens and would want Candace Owens to run for president. And my friend had said that she thought Candace Owens was a bigot. And I don't know. My friend, by the way, she's white, so I'm not like, you know, don't have anything against her. And my thoughts on Candace Owens are, I would say initially I did not like her. Like in college and stuff, I just remember hearing about her and a lot of people not liking her. I will say this, I do not hate Candace Owens. I don't have like hate. Oh, something stinks over here. What is that smell? It stank, y'all. It stank. I think this is a cotton field. Alright, I got some spray for my car. Is that cotton? I mean, is it the cotton that's stinking? Ooh, PU. Sorry. Okay, so anyways, my opinion on Candace Owens, I don't dislike her. I don't agree with everything she says, but I do think she makes some valid points. And I do think like people in the black community are very quick to hate on her based off of just her political views. But to be quite honest, like everything, she's not wrong about a lot of the stuff she says. But however, I do want to say something too, because I do think that there's some people will use Candace Owens' opinions as like a way to like be racist towards the black community though, because I still think there's like, this is what I want to say. I would just say like Candace Owens is very intelligent. She's strong opinion, and I don't think there's anything wrong with like her her standing on her opinions. Like she has every right to do that, whether you agree or disagree. I feel like Candace Owens is still a black woman who has a platform where she can share her thoughts and feelings. And I do think like if she had the political opinions that I guess were more liberal leaning, people wouldn't have a problem with her be doing those things, and she would probably be a lot more supported by the black community. But because she is very hardcore conservative Republican, she gets hated on a lot, and in my opinion, unfairly. I don't think you should hate someone just because you don't agree with their political views. That's my personal opinion. I don't hate someone for being a Democrat. I don't hate someone for being Republican, conservative, or liberal. Like I said, I don't align myself with either political party, because personally I think they are both flawed, and also I'm a free individual, independent thinker. I do not want, my opinions are not controlled by a political party. So that's why I feel like it's easier for me, because I feel like I'm not biased, to have like an unbiased opinion. I'm not biased to like or dislike someone based off of my political views, because I do not hold a certain political party as being, you know, my entire personality, I guess. Or I don't prioritize either political party. But I do think like Candace, I don't agree with everything she says, but I do think she's made some solid points about things, and I feel like people are very quick to judge her. I do think she gets unfairly hated on. So when my friend said she was a bigot, I was just like, well, I don't think it would be right to classify her as a bigot, because you're calling her a bigot based off of what? She doesn't hate, like, what, like, how is she a bigot, basically, is what I should have asked my friend. But honestly, I didn't feel like, I don't want to have to debate people. I don't like trying to debate people. And I just didn't want to get into it, because again, politics can be very divisive, and also, you know, just create unnecessary strife. So basically I just told her, well, her coworker who had brought up, you know, politics at work, and it created like this whole thing. I was like, well, that's just something you shouldn't be bringing up on the job. You know, it's not professional. Like, in your personal time, yeah, talk about, you can share your political beliefs, but I said, like, there's certain things like you just shouldn't talk about at a job, because it's not professional, right? Like I said, it's not that I mind someone having a different opinion or view from mine. It's just like, talking about political things can be very divisive, and there's a lot of people who hold very strong opinions about certain politics, and that is what creates division. I really just think what creates division is people having like disdain and not respecting someone having different views from themselves. So I'm like, it really wouldn't be divisive if it wasn't so if we didn't polarize and like pit these like political parties against each other, and people hold views of like anyone who's a Democrat is evil, and anyone who's a Republican is evil and not a good person. Like, that is what makes it divisive, is people putting and I've said this before, a lot of people make politics their religion in a sense. Like, their worldview is controlled by their political views. And that, to me, is kind of like dangerous, because you're creating an identity around a political party. And political parties are not, at the end of the day, they're not, what's the word? I don't know. Basically, I just want to say, like, if someone's like, in a lot of ways, someone's political views can be like their religion. So when it gets to that point, and now you're like demonizing anyone who doesn't agree with you and things like that, it creates strife. But my main opinion on Candace Owens, I do think she's a smart person. I think she makes good points sometimes. Do I always agree with her? No. I do think she could be more kind, I guess, and considerate. Like, some of the things she says, I do think, like, it comes off as just like, can be rude, but you know, that's just my opinion. At the end of the day, like, I don't think she's a horrible person because she has opinions people don't like. And that just, I feel like, comes from me growing and getting to a point where I'm just like, you know, just because someone says something you don't like or don't agree with, it doesn't mean it's not true also. But back to the original thing I talked about. So I had said, basically, I can see how someone who has a bias against certain types of people could use the things that Candace Owens says to fuel racism, but I can't like really specify that right now. So I'm like, I don't want to say something without having like full proof. But basically, I could see, like, I don't think it's a founded claim. Well, right now I feel like it's not a founded claim. I don't want to say something and it's not like truthful, but I do think it's just like, I've heard people say that before, but I think it comes from a place of people, you know, who call Candace Owens names and call her like a coon and Uncle Tom and Uncle Sam. Like, the way people made fun of her too, like, I don't agree with how people made fun of her. I don't know. I do think she gets picked on a lot in the black community. I don't agree with that either. Like, you can not like her political views, but that doesn't mean you have to like crap on her as a person, I think. I'm like, she's still a black person, and I feel like I think if people could separate her political views from, and like recognize her for like the fact that she has this huge platform, she has a lot of, you know, viewers, I'm like, she's really actually respected by a lot of conservatives and Republicans, and I don't think like, I really don't think like that is a bad thing necessarily. just think it's all like your mindset, how you choose to view or see the world or think about certain things. But I don't think she's a bigot. I wouldn't call her that. Like, I don't think Candace Owens is racist against black people or has an issue with black people. So I don't agree with my friend's statement that she made, but I wasn't about to argue. Like I said, everyone is entitled to their opinion, but I don't agree with, you know, putting someone down just because you don't agree with their political views. And that's basically where I'm gonna end that.